Hello everyone, welcome to Ryam. Nothing gang? Are we...
We're missing a quarter of our shenanigans, Scoot.
Right,
The Randall.
I didn't know if there would be anything.
Leave Randall out of shenanigans.
I guess this will just be a normal opening, which we haven't had in a very long time. So, thank you for coming once again, everyone. As the group just said, we are unfortunately down a Randall, so there'll be a little less bird this session, which makes me a lot sadder than when I say it out loud. But we will press on. So, once again, this is Scoot, your DM, talking, and this week, for no particular reason at all than DM insidious reasons, I have asked the group, when their characters dream, what do they have nightmares about? So, gang, what do you fear in the deep dark of the night?
I can go first. I'm Kate. I play Allie, our half tiefling, half Kitsune monk. You already know what Allie's nightmares are about. Allie has nightmares about, like, the people she loves being hurt or dying and not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah, but the audience doesn't know that.
Yeah, they do. She's absolutely
They probably
disgusted
could
with the
figure it
audience.
out.
Also, Allie has occasionally weird dreams about, like, anthropomorphic vegetables. That's the only thing she has nightmares about.
Anthropomorphic what?
Vegetables.
It's like Veggie Tales.
Like Veggie-Tales?
Ooh,
just
but like
terrifying.
cursed. Shadowfell VeggieTales.
No, I just want to do the regular VeggieTales if they're just singing about helpful things, and Allie's just like, what is this?
To be fair, I have nightmares about regular vegetables. So, there's that. On that note, I guess I'll go next.
They will absolutely get you.
Fuck celery. Anyway, I'm Deb. I play Tessa, the Tiefling Paladin, and I think before a recent adventure, it was probably just like more minor wacky stuff like that. But recently, ever since she had that experience where she was kind of locked up and falling down that hole, and she couldn't do anything about it, her nightmares have mostly been falling, and she can't stop it. So she's like powerless to do anything about it.
That is a scary dream.
Mm-hmm.
Not a
Robert.
good one. Hello, my name is Robert. I play Nikki the Human Wizard, who has a couple of recurring dreams. The most common one by far is just reliving her her trial on Winter Solstice back when she was a kid. Except in the dream, no one comes to be like, "Oh, that's my apprentice," and then she gets sentenced to death. The other one is ever since she almost got killed in her dreams by the fell Asathan man. She finds herself back there a couple of nights a week usually.
Now, question: is Nikki the type to have nightmares where she has to take a really important test but hasn't studied for it?
Weirdly, no. For as intense as she was about schooling, she was never that stressed about her test.
I still get that one personally.
Every once in a while, she'll have not the test one, but the suddenly realizing that she signed up for a class and literally never attended it.
But for some reason, she's at the final. Like,
But yeah. Suddenly she forgot about the test. She knew about the test, but she walks in and she's like, what's this? Like, what?
yeah. So, to make it for Randall, Thrax has two reoccurring ones. One is a very deep, abiding one. He maybe has told Tessa about, but has not shared about, basically one of you folks dying for real. Because a lot of you have come pretty close, and like him not being able to do anything about it, which is why he's made some class choices that he has, actually. The other one is that he's just swapped with Bosco. Like, he's trapped in Bosco's body, and he's watching Bosco and his body just, like throw open shelves and just eat things, and just, like, he just goes, like, fucking berserk, because now he can reach shelves. And, like, he has opposable thumbs now. Right, but he doesn't have thumbs.
Oh, he can't open the cookie jar.
Yeah,
That's
now
great.
he can, because he has hands and thumbs. Which is, he's just like, no! Then that's when he would wake up screaming. And you might have, like, heard him. And, like, Tessa, you've heard him, obviously, because you sleep in the same bed with Bosco.
You had the Bosco dream, right?
Yeah.
He's still small, Thrax. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't guess it by the amount of bed that he's currently taking up.
Yeah.
As a corgi
This is
does.
the way.
This
Yeah.
is the
This
way.
is his right. All right. But I think we'll get into it now, folks. So last week, we completed Dildo Quest. And all of you
Dildo Quest.
were given a boon from the Empress. So have we thought about what we want those boons to be?
I had a question. Where was that? Where were we with Kanakanak? Where on the map is that in Lasana?
That is below the Nev Isles, roughly, but in between the Nev Isles and the Forest of Silvis. So on the eastern coast, that kind of coastline there. That's where Kanak is.
Okay. I was trying to figure out where that was.
Have you thought about your boons?
I was struggling with this one because I don't really need money. It's like that's not a thing. But as far as like stuff, I was thinking maybe put an Aloran temple in Kanakanak, because that's why I was curious of where it was, if it was close to one of the other ones. Which there is one in Nev Island, but that's a little bit further north.
Yeah,
like significantly further.
They're also
north.
very happy to give you boats.
Boat.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Yep. And like
Boats are pretty cool. I just don't think I'd use it.
And to be fair, this is not a sailboat. They would be willing to build you like more or less a battleship.
Ooh.
It'll take a while to build, but they will. A smaller version of those dwarven ironclads that definitely Tessa and Allie have seen in their lifetimes down by Anshin, which is functionally like ye old fantasy battleship.
Would that fit in by like the bay area of Goals Way?
That'll fit in the bay, probably not in the channel.
No,
leading to
not in the
temple.
channel.
But
But I'm
would
thinking
definitely
like if
fit
we
in
ever
the
get
bay.
attacked
sticking
again,
in the bay seems pretty reasonable, though.
and that seems like a good fortification because you've got not only the Quillback estate, you got the temple there, and
Yeah.
we got hit before.
I think Nikki will want to ask for spellbooks, but probably when they indicate the battleship as an
No,
option.
they will give Tessa a battleship if she wants.
I'll
Will in
take
theory
that
give
one.
each of you a battleship if you want.
Oh.
Okay,
Well, Nikki wants a battleship.
I'll take them just so I can dress up the geckos in little like red and white striped like
So
pirate
bad.
shirts.
Oh, yes.
They're not gonna be anywhere near the controls, but they'll think they're important.
So Tessa, do you want a boat?
I think that would be good for protection of the Free Peaks if we just parked that there in case. Because right now I feel like our defenses are a little bit lacking, and we only kind of survived that last one because we had like level 100 characters there helping us. So, yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea strategically.
What?
Allie, I'm looking at Allie and Nikki. Do you also want boats, or do you want something different?
I feel like multi-boat might be a little excessive.
Yeah, I think we're good with one boat. If you're still trying to think of what Nikki wants, I know what Allie wants.
Well, I had an idea, but when Tessa starts to say that she'll go for a boat, I'll kind of interrupt and be like, well, Tessa, would the Heartway make more sense? Can I ask for that?
There is a Heartway on Nev Island, but in meta, I'm looking at the map, and it looks like the distance between Nev Island and Kanakanak is like the distance between the Free Peaks and like Anshin, which is like pretty significant distance. So you might be on point with that one.
I feel like that might be more your speed as a like in your champion role. Get that, get those connections. You can maybe get some trade flowing via the Alorans or something.
Yeah, that was kind of my initial idea. Is we'd have to first build a temple there. They'd have to allow that, and then we'd have to get the Alorans over there to build the Heartway, like they did for us before, which is doable. So it's that's a choice.
I enjoy that Tessa's building this rival teleportation network that runs on like fuck fumes and whatnot.
Why don't I think about it? Why don't you guys pick
Okay.
something?
Okay.
right.
So we know what Allie wants, right?
Yeah.
What does Allie want?
Allie wants an unlimited distance communication device for her and Kem and Bendo.
That will be made and given to you.
Great.
Robert, what does Nikki want?
Well,
Do you want a
Nikki
boat?
wants spellbooks, but Nikki is fully aware that she has spellbooks back at the estate that she has not yet learned.
We
Which
have
is
food at home.
But I want to go to Magic McDonald's.
Yeah, basically, literally that. Bells at home is just like an old man spelling the dust off the floor, you know. Thank you, Phyllis. But Phyllis really does have some good spells that Nikki still hasn't learned from him yet.
So would you like
she's
an
also
Offer,
What?
Robert? Would you like a? Is there? They have a suggestion.
Probably I want the suggestion, or I want to hear it. But
Okay.
first, he's definitely willing to, as sort of the landowner on which not landowner, because that's not how the Free Peaks works, but she's roughly in charge of infrastructure and land and stuff around.
Majority stakeholder.
Yeah, there you go. As majority stakeholder of the location of the new, council. What's the word for our thing?
The Grand Conclave.
Thank you, conclave. I was like, council's the wrong word. I am certainly willing to use my boon to further the needs of the conclave. So get a boat. If Tessa, basically whatever Tessa thinks, like if she needs to get a Heartway and a boat, I can get a boat. If Tessa thinks we're good with just a boat or just a Heartway, then I'm much more interested in.
I'm curious to
personal
see what
power.
the suggestion is, though, because it
Also
might be something
interested.
awesome.
So they are
Yeah.
willing to build you a proper mage tower in the old Imperial
Oh.
style,
Oh. Oh.
which is for Nikki's reference, pretty much the most powerful of the Venti the Venti magic users will have those back in Ventos, things that were modeled
Yeah.
after the old Imperial style.
Nikki, when she was a kid, definitely had, posters of wizard towers, on this is Nick's corner of the room or whatever. So that is, I'm gonna roll for it, but I think that is more tempting than Nikki.
I think you should.
to
I think
go.
you should. I think you should do it because I'm definitely willing to get the battleship
Yeah,
for the.
absolutely.
Allie is willing to be the one who brings a boat home, and
I mean, you said
Well, my
boat. Now I'm
girlfriend-
kind of
My
invested.
girlfriend comes from a super rich family. We can figure out another way to get really fancy communication devices. If we need somebody to bring home a boat, Allie can do the boat
That was the
bringing.
other thing is this: Tim and the Empress, since they're joining the Conclave, are happy to put a temple to Allura somewhere. That benefits them as well,
Sick.
given that the connection that we'll have with Doshnaral and the Peaks.
Yeah, I definitely want a wizard tower.
Yeah, I want the battleship. So.
You want both.
Yeah.
I can't turn down a boat. I love boats.
Give
It's
a
true.
boat.
All
right.
So communication device then, Allie. Okay, so we have boat, tower, and fancy magic jewelry. So you folks, upon the request, they tell you that this will take some time to do, mostly because building a boat and making a proper mage tower are going to take time. And now here's a
Sorry, we're all
Bosco is
watching this.
coming.
Deb attempts to grab her Corgo and also scoot her
I'm
chair
stuck on
forward.
the
and
rug.
she's experiencing a lot of technical difficulties with
Yeah.
the chair getting stuck on the rug, so we're kind of just sitting here
So
giggling
the
right now.
Corgo has added so much weight to the rug that it's
He's
caught
so
on the rug.
heavy.
Because he probably weighs about as much as Deb does.
Oh my god. Ugh. Come on.
How much does that good
Yay.
boy weigh?
He's 31 pounds.
Oh, well, you're a big guy.
All right, well, he's gonna play D&D now.
Oh, good.
Hi, Yoshi.
He said, no, I don't like to have phone.
He doesn't like that.
No.
His
have
big ears are too
phone.
sensitive.
Oh,
Poor boy.
I don't like it.
That's sweet boy.
Don't get that good potato.
He's tired. He wanted an adventure today.
Oh, where'd he go?
Ryan took him to a park, Wissahickon
Oh,
Park,
my
and he
goodness.
got to play in the water.
Good, good.
Anyway,
yeah, I know what Thrax is asking for. We'll just have to get Kiki later. Okay, so they make the agreement.
what's he asking for?
You'll see. You folks, basically some time is going to pass because they've made the agreement it's going to take time for you to get the materials together, get a boat made, and get this tower built. Tessa, they ask you, do you have a name you want to name this boat?
It's got to be something involving sheep and a pun. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
Unless you guys have a good idea. Let me Google sheep puns real quick.
It could be a U-boat.
The U-boat. Anyway, so
We'll think about it.
yeah,
We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it. So you folks you go home. Basically, it's going to take them time to put these things together. About a month passes, and a delegation comes from Lasana. And they come to inform you, Nikki, that, they basically show up and go, okay, like, where do you want the tower? Like, on your property?
Oh, baby. Alright, let me pull up my map. No, not that map. I want my map. No, not that map. It's all the way down here. This one. Okay. So I've got my nub map pulled up. And I get to put a tower on it. That's
Well,
pretty
you
fucking
decide.
sweet.
Allow me to describe the Imperial Tower.
Oh my god,
So,
I'm so excited.
This thing is built into 5 levels. The first is it is meant to deter people that you don't want in there, because as you walk in, the tower is circular on the outside. But as you walk in, the shape seems like off. Like you look around and it's a square, but you swear you count 5 corners at different points. It's made to sort of befuddle things. And there are a number of magical accoutrements that are in there. So there's like a fountain just spurting water. There's like a shell game. There's just all of these things that are just like basically you
there's
pick.
a fountain and there's 5 corners. Fucked.
So
I rolled to intimidate the door.
You basically just pick the one you want to be the key to the upper levels, and that will become the key. The rest are just like false herring,
Like decoys and
to
yeah.
get there. And you can set that like they can harm people if you want it to.
Okay.
The top level is basically like an alchemist area where you can brew things. There's heavy ventilation. There are 2 floors of what are basically for your personal study and library, and then another floor to do with kind of as you will.
So, magical sex dungeon.
Whatever you want. That space
Alright,
they
so
leave
I
open until
definitely
you need to do
need
this.
some advice from y'all. I'm looking at. I'm just so torn. There's like 4 totally solid options here. Number 1 is right in the middle of the Brazen Vine, like just south of Tarnatho Run. Big old maid tower coming out of the forest. It's a classic. Number 2 is maybe with some like dwarven engineering help, just stick it right in the fucking middle of the lake. Number 3 is like put it kind of up by Bess's Forge, so it's a little more like away from the estate. I think I skipped a number, but the other option is put it like in the mountains, kind of like between Fran's Temple and the mines entrance. I'm up there pretty often, anyways, especially with the temple. It gets me a little closer to the temple, which is handy. Mountains are very cool. Nikki's so torn. She's just frozen in indecision. Please help.
Not the middle of the lake, because
navigate my
Entirely-
ship around it.
Oh, no. Entirely theoretically and hypothetically, the bottom of the lake is a great place to have sex if you got the water breathing spell, and if there's a giant, wizard's tower there, it gets a little distracting.
Okay, I accept. Okay.
Entirely hypothetical.
Right, yeah. Hypothetically speaking. Let's put it in the woods.
Okay.
Closer to the estate, so I don't have to worry about travel time so much.
Mhm.
So, like, you
I
have
feel
the
like
map
you'd want to
pulled
be
up?
pretty close to it. I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
The Brazen Vine Woods?
Yeah, there's a really pointy tree, like, right above the Z of Brazenvine.
Yeah, I see that.
I want that pointy tree to turn into a mage tower.
Poof.
They begin to construct around there both magically. Tessa, you see that not the completed ship, but like most of it is being brought to Gullsway. Because their plan is, like, they've been working on it for a month. The dwarves have continued to work on it. It's being towed by another boat of equal size. And basically their plan is to move into a sort of a dry dock situation in Gullsway and then finish it up there. Like, it can be in the water, it's okay, but they're putting, like, the last of the things in because they figure they're also going to have to train people how the fuck to use this thing.
How big is this thing? Like,
So think of, like, if you've seen old, like, Chinese junkers, like those types of boats. You know what I'm talking about?
nope.
So,
Quick Google image search.
so junkers were, like, big, more rectangular boats. They were a different style. They were just made to be huge. And these things would go from basically the eastern coasts of, like, mainland China to, like,
Oh, these
India.
have the cool fans
Mhm.
on them? Oh, I
so
like
it's-
those fans. They're cool.
It's like, sort of like that, except it's more ironcladdy. It's not a complete dwarven iron, like, warship. It's made a little bit quicker and cheaper, so it has those big masts, those big sails, but there's Aloran and Fran markings and stylistic things on them. But they're sort of bringing it. It's probably halfway done, but they're bringing it here so you can get a crew together to, like, teach them how to use things.
Got it.
And at the same time, Allie, they deliver your communication devices, which is whatever piece of jewelry you would like them to be.
I think earring is unclaimed currently.
All right. So you folks spend some time. About a month goes by. The boat gets finished. The crew is being, you find this crew from Gullsway that is training it, training how to use it. Nikki, at that point, through magical means and regular construction, the tower is finished. And you begin to move. You have people begin to move stuff in.
Nice.
It is about that time that you, during the day, Tessa, the temple receives a visitor as Somek brings you a human, sort of cleric, priest-looking gentleman, but all of his robes are a deep, like, royal purple.
Do I recognize, like, is he wearing any symbols or anything that I would recognize?
He is, make a religion check.
Religion check. 23.
He is of the Order of the Jezza. You would know that they are a cleric order from Sibin Or.
I should know that, right? Because they were here for...
Yeah, you've seen them. It's not Father Mallow, but it is another of his order. And you also remember that they're sort of kooky clerics because in functional terms they multi-class, but they multi-class into literally anything. There are cleric warlocks, there are cleric hexblades, there are cleric necromancers, because their purpose amongst the orders of Sibin Or is to understand what they might have to fight so they can better deal with whatever nonsense and necromancers throw at them.
Clerics make fantastic necromancers. Just a quick comment there.
But this guy is clearly alive. He's not Chatterteeth. As he does approach, as Somek just kind of waddles up to you. That is Tessa.
Hi, Somek.
Hey.
Oh, who do we have here?
This is Darius. Derek. And he smiles at Somek.
You did good, Somek. Thank you. We can take it from here.
Yeah. Okay, bye. And then he just scurries off. Champion. Serious.
You'll have to forgive Somek. He gets a little excited. What is your actual name?
Darius.
Hi, Darius. Welcome to the temple. How can I help you?
We were hoping to get in touch with yourself and, I believe, the head of Project Shear?
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin Allie.
Ah.
What for?
We have a request of both the Conclave and the that organization, Project Shear.
Okay. Let me go communicate to Allie. I'll get her over here, and then we can sit down and talk. Can I get you anything? Coffee, tea, snacks?
No, one of your geckos gave me a potion.
Oh, did you take it?
No, I was holding on to it.
I don't know what it does. I don't think he does either.
Yeah, he called it an Eok. He said it was a brand of drink.
Yeah, I don't trust it. Hang on a minute, and I use the Slap chat, and I tell both Nikki and Allie to head over because we have a visitor who's interested in a request.
Where are you at right now?
The temple.
Yeah, the temple.
Okay. Allie was in the Shear headquarters, so she'll come over.
I feel like
I'll,
Nikki is just like has now that she has like a Kiki S shed, has probably not left that wizard tower in a little bit.
It's been 4 days.
Have you showered?
No, but
Bath first.
I will.
Into the hot springs, motherfucker. I'm just gonna throw you in there.
I did cast Prestidigitate on me while I rode over a lot.
I'm gonna make a ruling that's functionally like covering yourself in axe, and that'll work to a point.
Yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah.
That's kind of the effect that I was going for, honestly.
Okay, good. Let's just make that canonical now.
Yeah, you can do it. It's like a sponge bath and then an axe all over.
That's Axe
Yeah.
body spray.
Yeah, so I will accept. Excuse me. Getting yoked into the hot springs without much of a protest.
Yoked. It's the Jezza kind of watches that happen and goes, okay. And he looks at his drink that Phil gave him, and he takes a drink, and he nods like it tastes very good, and he finishes it.
Huh. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. How do you feel?
Energetic.
Oh, okay. It's probably one of his energy drinks.
Can I see the bottle?
He hands it to you as you like pull yourself out of the spring. Now much
You
cleaner.
can like shake my hair off and everything.
Yeah.
I'll identify the bottle. Can I tell what it was?
Yeah.
With
it was
my magic.
He made
detective fingers?
totally not Coke TM. That's why it's
Okay.
called Eok.
Oh. Okay.
I couldn't quite
Did not
figure
get that.
out what was going on there. I was like, it's clearly something like it's probably something backwards with like the letter shuffle. Like, okay, yeah, it's Coke. Good. Excellent. I'll tell
We
him
have to get Phil making
it'll be
some
okay.
root beer.
Oh,
Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
some quality root beer up in here.
It's gonna be like a mugs thing. It's just Phil's face on it instead of the bulldog.
Yes.
or Bosca's face on it.
It's a brand.
It's brand. It'll win the blue ribbon one time, and then he'll never shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, that is accurate. There are like county fair style stuff that goes on in the net, so he actually could.
All right. I propose we go to one of these smaller council chambers. We've already got snacks and drinks and stuff set up, and we can go talk there.
Sure. And he follows you as Nikki is just dripping, is prestidigitating, dripping.
Yeah, just like drying off, like yeah.
Thank you for all meeting with me, Lady Docksborn, Champion. And he looks at Allie and
Do a
goes,
little curtsy.
do you have a title?
Not-
Commander?
Commander?
I guess. Allie's fine.
So, how aware of Lasana are you folks?
Well, we just spent a little bit of time over there, actually.
Oh, okay. Are you aware of places called Mount Gobo and Dath?
I mean, vaguely, I've never been there myself. Have you guys ever been there?
No, when
I've
Jen
never
and I were
visited,
traveling, we
no.
were explicitly told not to go there.
That's why it sounds familiar. Don't go there.
Yes, it is often recommended that you don't go to Gobo. But things have changed in the last 2 years. A group from Thunderblade descended into the depths of Mount Gobo, and something changed in the mountain.
Did they delve too greedily and too deep?
Do you know what a
Dungeons deep
Rakai is?
Caverns old.
Oh,
Intimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're familiar.
Okay. It is. We believe that they released one into the world, but that's a whole other story.
We knew that, right? As players?
Oh yeah, it's living in Nikki's head. Like he's.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the same. I thought there was
That's
a
the
different
same
one.
guy. He doesn't. You know,
Same
the
one.
Jezza doesn't know this, and
Okay.
Nikki, as he says that, you hear a delightful chuckling in your mind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just kind of smile at him like, wow.
There's another thing that got released that was bad, right? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
there was-
bad.
So in
Just-
meta, there was another thing that was released from that particular mountain, but we're not entirely sure whether it's good or bad or what yet.
Right,
Although
okay.
based on a future campaign that's happening, it's at least neutral. It was the god of chains and jails, basically, but the one who isn't Torg and therefore
Which
shitty.
direction is that at least in?
At least neutral, if not good.
Trending towards good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that conversation is not happening in character. He goes, yes,
Right.
Slap chat.
Slapchat.
Everything gets real quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, and he's looking around. He has a feeling that a magical conversation is happening, so he just waits until it's done. He goes,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, please
Yeah.
continue.
no worries. So, with the Rakai gone, a lot of the latent magic and other things that once sort of made Gobo hard to crack have lessened over time. And also the beings that live more towards the depths have begun fighting over all number of things and subsequently sort of weakened each other.
So it's becoming like slightly less hostile.
It's Chernobyl.
No, that...
Fantasy Chernobyl.
No, Dath is fantasy Chernobyl. And he's going to
Stupid
get to that in a
influencers
moment.
can go there now.
He goes, well, it's getting to the point where the Empress is considering expeditions there, along with help from the Dura dwarves and the elves of Sylvis and the centaurs of the Central Plains. But we need more information about that old, what was once Mount Gobo was a central dwarven mountain kingdom that the other folks that lived in Lasana all helped to build and had a part of. We need to know more. She needs to know more about that. And the only place that has records that old and reliable and untouched by years of stewardship, and when he says stewardship, there's a very sour grin on his face that he's trying a little bit to mask, but not entirely, would be in the ruins of Dath. Now,
Ooh.
normally, do you know about Dath? And he sort of looks at Nikki, sensing that she is a wizard.
I've never been.
But you know of the ley line they tried to pull up.
Certainly.
Due to the same party that unleashed the proto-dragon, Dath has become more hospitable. We've been able to send people into Dath to recover things. On the outskirts, not the center, is where the ley line was, is still very dangerous, but it's getting better. And the Empress and a number of other folks, including the Senate and Thunderblade, a number of the people wanted to send folks in to see what we could recover. But when we started talking about this, inevitably a intense discussion broke out about who would retain knowledge pulled out, who it belonged to, and then we of the Jezza and the matrons of Sibin suggested that we find a third party to go acquire these things and to potentially keep them. And you are the Grand Conclave, so
there is a smug anime grin on Nikki's face.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that makes sense because we're neutral ground here, and the knowledge that we acquire would be available for all.
Mm-hmm. We thought this would be you all might be the best to do this. I just don't know if you would want to do this.
I mean, it sounds like an adventure, and we know how I feel about adventures, gang.
Nikki kind of leans towards the Jezza lad. I'm sorry, did you just ask a practicing wizard if I wanted to go on an archaeology trip to fucking Deza? Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my god, is this gonna be like the Mummy?
Yes,
Are we going to Hamunaptra?
There is a way station there that has been cleansed of the excess arcane energies, run by a very studious woman. She's very tall. Oh, goodness, what is her name? I'm sorry, I've been long on the continent. I believe her name is Aaliyah something. I'm not entirely sure. But she has set up a small forward base where these expeditions have been going from. We thought this would be a good place to be going from. Aaliyah Goatsy. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name.
That one.
Yeah, I think that would be a place to begin. To certainly begin. But
so, what kind of things, like what kind of artifacts are you looking to find there? Are there things in particular that you're looking for?
Yes, Dath was when Dath was a province, a proper, of the old human empire. It was a sort of vault of knowledge, especially shared between the dwarves of Duraheim, those that lived in the Blood Spires, and the old human empire. A lot of things were kept there. It was a sort of proving grounds of sorts. It was the sort of eastern hub of magic and research before Salu Province. Actually, it was because of its destruction that Salu Province became formally, before it was taken over by the dragons, the hub of magic on the continent. It was Dath, and then Dath exploded. So they needed to move.
Okay. There's a huge potential here.
Yes, again, Getting, that's it, Aaliyah Getting is the librarian chronicling things with the help of various other organizations, but despite best efforts, many wish to lay claim to the artifacts and the knowledge and be its keeper, and he does air quotes. We of the Jezza, do history checks, folks. While I'm finishing this, we of the Jezza would rather these be kept out of
13.
More glory-seeking hands.
18.
13, 18.
That one.
Allie,
That one.
In visions of spell books.
Yeah.
Allie is amazingly good at this somehow. Like, Allie's been studying a whole bunch for projects here to try and become more familiar.
Yep. So, Allie, what you would kind of think about this guy and about the Jezza is that they dab in a lot of dangerous shit. And they understand the point of, like, they want people to be able to access this, but they want it to be restricted. They don't want anyone to have claim to some of their knowledge. Like,
We're going to be the Library of Alexandria.
No, but it's like there has been during your time in the Sibin Ore, which you didn't spend a lot of time there because it's fucking cold in that far north. But having been around the matrons and kind of checking that out, because it's a very it's an entire place run by a clergy of women and these other orders. The Jesuit were often had suspicions of them that they were like hoarding and doing like really kind of fucked up rituals, which they tended not to do, but they were dabbling, so they knew how to deal with it in the same way that you have to study disease in order to find out how to deal with disease.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that stage of like early medicine where like you kind of have to go get a cadaver so you can open it up and be like, here's where the things are, because that's how we're going to do this. And that's the sort of suspicion that can kind of come around the Jesuit, but with a few exceptions, they've fairly been good stewards of troublesome knowledge.
Are we gonna run into
Alright.
any like opposing parties? Like, who's on board with the conclave keeping this? Is it just Sibin Ore, or are there other nations on board with this idea?
We've advised the High Matron that this might be a good course of action. She agrees. The Senate, or at least the representatives of Thunderblade, agree. Lord Darksbane of Ibarockham. The Federation of Houses have some dissenting opinions, although House Verk and Kerai agree that this should be kept for neutral purposes unless anything's overtly dangerous, in which case maybe it should be destroyed, but it's going to be more on a case-by-case basis. And then,
Okay, so it's not just the Jezza.
No, there's a number of us have been meeting with the Empress of Lasana to try to figure out what the hell to do with all of this.
Who is against it? Are there people that are going to be going over there and like fighting us for it, or like what are we getting into?
Private concerns, he says. Most of the ruling entities of the world agree that this might be something worth the conclave worth having because it can be shared for all. There are individualized factions which wish to have the information for themselves to sell it or use it as they see fit.
Okay, but not governments, more like smaller
No.
groups. Okay.
To be honest, I would assume that most of the governments would enjoy having a lot of access to it to see what they could do with it, for better or worse. But this is knowledge that should be shared by all, should be potentially shared to all, but definitely guarded away from some.
Makes sense. I'm on board with the idea.
Yeah. Nikki's definitely down for this.
And can you imagine, like, I know Kiki's not here right now, but her face when she finds out.
She's gonna flip.
Yes, I heard there was a tinkering Kenku that makes things explode.
In a controlled way. It's kind of like how
Usually.
you guys do your experiments.
Usually controlled.
Usually.
Huh.
But don't worry, she's just far enough away. She can't really hurt anyone.
Huh. Well, if you would like, we have the forward base on the borders of the Nev Isles and Dath. We can be more than happy to help you get there whenever you are ready to leave.
Okay, well, we probably need to gather some things together. But we could... It's a couple hours?
Sure.
Unless you guys have other things that need attending to.
I don't believe so.
No, not much. I just need to like
Oh, so
lock
we
up
can-
at the tower, but
We can go direct to Neb Island if we want. I have a
pull
heartway
up a
there.
map.
How close is that to
Yeah.
death?
I'm mapping.
Are
I'm
you going to tell
looking.
him that, or your plan? Are you going
I'm
to just go? You're
mapping.
going to wing it?
Okay.
I mean, I'll just tell him we'll find our way over there. Is there like a meeting point? Where's the camp?
He does. If you meet me on the Nev Isle closest to Celadon province, he can get you there.
Okay.
He's going to have to guide you in because there are channels and red tape to get you through.
Is that one of those little soybean-looking islands in the bay?
Yes, the one closest to the mainland.
Okay.
That's where he'll meet you. Tessa,
All
the actual Lauren temple would be in one of the bigger, like where the bigger city is in the map.
Right. Okay. So like that, where that like tower is.
Mhm.
Okay. So do we want to take the long way around, or do we want to go straight there?
I don't see any reason not to go straight there, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can bring. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Darius.
Darius. Right. He did say that. Fuck. It's late. Yeah. We can just go right there.
Okay. He happily will go with you. He has a teleportation scroll if you want to use that.
Sure. I mean, if you think that's what's best, if it would cause less of a commotion.
I don't feel much need to use up the man's scroll.
Yeah.
Although
that's
if
true.
does he have the is it a circle or an actual teleportation?
It's an actual scroll, but he does know the sequence for the what is often referred to as the Imperial capital, like where the Empress is.
If he can like scribe the sequence somewhere, I can take us there without using up his scroll. I'm sure that's expensive.
Yeah, sure. How many do you have the other points in like Lasada and everything, or
Very, very little.
oh, I can help you with that, and he gives you a number.
What's
would
the
be-
coordinate?
Deeply
He
appreciated.
gives you coordinates to a couple of key places.
I still, to this day, have a single known bill.
Yeah, he will
And
give
it's
you
the Thunderblade boarding
sigils
house.
for a couple other places. He's like, I'm gonna help you because you're helping us. So here we go.
Okay, so what did I just get?
We'll go over it afterwards,
cap.
but you're going
Okay.
to be we'll go through it then. So you folks gather your shit. You gather up Kiki. And this is actually where Kiki can bring Big Gruff.
Oh yeah, she was gonna have like a little Pokeball thing too, right?
She's working on that. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess that would be like less conspicuous if it was in that like Pokeball
We
thing.
don't know if she has that yet. Well, we'd have to make a roll for it. But let's say she's just kind of like driving it like a semi.
I assume Thrax and Bosco are also there.
Yep, they're coming. So
All right, ready to go.
off you go. And you teleport to you are teleporting with this scroll to a sizable base camp. It's military-esque, but more the equivalent kind of be like a Star Trek like starship, or like this is mostly a science-based research area, but there are guards because you can see in the distance there are specters and ghosts just kind of moving around, and every now and again one of them will come up to a sentry, and the sentry will have to fight it off.
Oh,
No.
gnarly.
You also see a lot of the security is being done by something called an organization that was referred to as the Penataus, and like it has that name in it, and you can see in the distance in a body of water that there's an airship sitting in the water, just kind of hanging out there. Not quite docked, but it's not going to be able to be on land, so it's either got to be on a skyport or in water, and it seems to be sitting in water currently. Like this dirigible model. Yep, the Jesuit will lead you to a tent where you folks can set up, and he tells you you'll be briefed in a little bit by his superior.
Thank you, Darius.
Thank you.
You folks settle in, and you come in a few moments after that, you find two individuals come to you, another Jezza. This person is a female, like very clearly presenting this person is a woman, which Ali, you know that most of the orders in Sibinor are divided by sex, except for the Jezza. The Jezza are the only ones that accept both men and women, and anyone in between into the ranks. Her name is Glamorous. She's probably a half-elf, kind of looking at her, but you're not quite sure. And with her is a human gentleman, a lot bigger than her. It's kind of a tall and small situation. And he has an emblem of what you would know, Ali, based on your last role, as he's a member of the Brotherhood, which is a more militaristic knightly order they're made for bashing and protection more than books. Like, you know, if this young woman is Nikki, the gentleman is Tessa.
Okay.
Counterparts, yeah.
Analogy.
So Glamra she greets you. She goes, "Oh, and she's a little starstruck. She's like, it's the champion. I didn't know you'd be so large."
Tessa's like looking around, like, "Oh, me? Yeah. Yeah, I get that a lot."
Allie and
well,
Nikki,
nice
make
to
me
meet
inside
you.
checks, please.
Inside checks. I'm not super. No, I'm okay at those.
I'm okay. Tessa, make me
Oh,
an
I
inside
crit
check
also.
too. Oh,
27.
Fucking Kate still beat me.
I got a 6.
I did not crit, and I got a 27.
so Tessa, this is a very friendly young lady. She's making small talk with you. You two are looking at her.
She got a fucking crush.
Yeah, she's a huge crush on, like, instantaneous on Tessa.
I'm glad my roles are playing the character, you know,
Yeah.
on point, because a 6.
You notice that the gentleman who is with her as her kind of escort you two notice that he's just kind of sort of chuckling as he's picked up on it too. And Allie, you will hear him mutter under his breath, she likes him big.
I'm gonna. Excuse me. Can we DM with the slap chats, or are they broadcast only?
We've said they are open channels.
Yep.
Okay. I'll
In a
pull out a
message.
little bit of. Yeah, I'll just do message. I'll pull out a little bit of wire, and wait for a gap in the small talk, and send a little finger gun behind my back towards Allie. Who I'm gonna say with a 25, I saw that Allie also noticed what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send a message, just be like, "Do you think I should tell her? Let her
Allie
down,
will send back.
down easy."
No, it's way funnier when she doesn't know. Also,
right.
she's still not used to people being interested in her. So let her like it.
There's a brief pause. I message back. Oh no, I meant the one with the crush. You inform her that Tessa is betrothed.
Perhaps
Married? Betrothed.
perhaps we could casually reference their betrothal. Yes, that's probably a kind thing to do.
Yeah, let's try and work that in.
So she, as you two were talking, she's rummaging through her bag and she pulls out a map of the local area that is shockingly well done by a very expert cartographer. Like, you would be looking at this, and those of you that have traveled a bit, you would expect kind of a rougher map, but this is almost
Like
pinpoint accuracy. She goes, yes.
Wow, this is intricate.
Yes.
Allie is super distracted and delighted by this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and as, like, Tessa looks down, she's also looking down, but at Tessa, as Tessa's, like, boobs are hanging over, she's like, okay. Whew. Anyway, yeah, this was done by Sir Penetau. He's a surprisingly good cartographer, but we found a cache of tomes, not a library, but it looks like, perhaps when everything erupted, part of one got thrown clear, or it got moved, or some sort of, like, contingency magic happened that allowed these things to survive. It's locked, so we don't really know how to get to it. It shouldn't be too dangerous, though, as, this area has been scouted. We've driven off most of the spirits, every now and then. As she says that, like, there's definitely one that sort of hopped over the like barricade wall. That the knight rolls his eyes, and you see his sword light up like yours does, as he goes to deal with it. But he doesn't seem concerned. They're basically ghosted spirits.
Okay. And what is this magic thing we're looking for? So I missed what that was.
She doesn't quite know. She basically knows there's like a chamber somewhere near this area.
Oh, the chamber is locked. Okay.
The chamber is locked. They don't know.
Thought it was a thing.
Yeah, but they're
I guess there's no idea where a key might be.
No, it's not a key situation. It's a
Don't tell me it's a riddle.
yeah.
Hate riddles.
That's right. That's what we've got Nikki for.
And Kiki. Between the two of them, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, you notice that Kiki is gone.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm sure she's fine.
Nothing's blown up yet. It's probably okay.
At that moment, you hear an explosion.
She's a big bird. I don't hear screaming yet, so I think we're still
It's-
good.
Boom! One.
Pause. All of us tilt our heads like,
3, 4.
okay, she's good.
If we make it to 5 without screaming, it's fine.
Yeah.
As you look out and you see she's talking to a null. That is basically has like a rocket battery, and it's just he's showing her how it works, and she is just locked into this.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're not dragging her away from that.
We've lost her. She's gone.
Blown up.
Just like Nikki in that bookshop.
Yeah.
So yeah, Glamour goes, well, whenever you're ready, I can certainly take you.
All right, gang, we ready to go?
No
Allie,
time like
wanna-
the present.
on that.
All right, cool.
Tessa, is Drax coming with us and Bosco?
Are they in the room? Like, where they
Yeah.
at?
He
Yeah.
came back in because you see that he is, as you look out, he's pulling Bosco literally out of a trash can, and he's like, "How did you?" And he's like fighting with him now to pull something out of his mouth.
Yeah, I think they're all coming with.
Where did you get? How do you have a steak rib? Where did you find this? He says to Bosco, and Bosco's just smiling at him.
A little bit, not like too loudly, but like, clearly enunciated. I'll turn to Tessa and be like, why don't you go fetch your fiance and we'll head out?
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna need some help. Looks like Bosco's stuck again.
So you say that, Nikki, and Glamour is just sort of like,
Oh, I figured it was best she know.
yeah.
I don't notice it all.
No, and the Brotherhood Knight has come back, and he hears that, and he just sort of pats her on the head.
Oh,
It's okay.
sad head pat.
So they are willing to take you folks now, whenever you're ready to go.
I'm still trying to pull Bosco out of the trash, but I eventually, like, with all my strength, it's still to get between a corgi and their trash is just.
Yeah, partially because he's pretty stuck, and partially because he's actively fighting you.
So look, Bosco,
hey,
I will
Nikki.
give you bacon.
Nikki,
you
why
let
don't
go
you
of the rib.
prestidigitate some really strong bacon smell over here?
Ooh, I like that.
He's gonna make an
I do
insight
it.
check. Bosco crit an insight check because he pulls out, he
Thank
smells it, he
Bosco.
looks at you, Nikki. He's like, "How dare you?"
I pull out the real stuff,
Disappointed boo.
and I will. So Bosco,
Mm.
please, pretty please, with bacon on top.
Mm. And he opens his mouth for the bacon.
I just kind of shovel it in there.
Yeah. And then he looks at the trash can. There's definitely like a "I'll see you later" look as he moves off with Thrax. As Thrax joins you.
The molder as he goes away.
Yep. You folks move, and you move carefully, as you can see. Much like before, there are more specters the further out you get from the camp. Although sometimes they don't seem to notice you. Sometimes they just kind of look at you, and they don't do anything. But you come to where it looks like there's like a roof just sort of jutting out of the ground, like an old sort of Roman Greek style, like with the columns and everything. And she walks up, and you see Glamour do an incantation, and a spell is like script begins to appear on the in the air in front of you.
What language is it?
It looks to be like an older version of Common.
Like if we were looking at like Gaelic.
Like
Kind of thing?
slightly older English. Like not like
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 Middle English.
Shakespearean English.
yeah, like you can read it, but it's a little janky.
the spelling doesn't quite like line
Look,
up.
yeah, but you can tell it's what the old Empire would have used as common.
What's it say?
Why did chicken cross road?
Shit.
I turned to Tessa and raised an eyebrow.
I mean, it can't be
Chicken.
that. It can't be that simple, right?
Sure it can. Unless you already tried that. I look over at Glamorous.
I mean, we just found this one yesterday, so we haven't poked at it yet.
To get to the other side.
You hear it.
I look really confused at the fact that actually worked. Like, what? Who made this?
That
This
disappears.
is like having your password be 1234.
That disappears, and another one reappears. Would anyone like to read it?
Yeah,
It's
I'll read
hovering
it.
there, right?
Yeah.
So everyone reads it?
Yeah.
Okay. I need everyone to make a deck save, as the first couple
Oh,
words
God
are
damn
that I prepared exploding runes this morning.
Exploding word.
It's such a
Oh, I
classic.
crit. I
Okay.
crit, and don't forget you guys have a +5 because you're near me.
Oh, thank you.
Hmm?
So this is okay.
I roll a
okay.
30. Not a crit, but with Tessa's bonus. I'm doing pretty good.
20 is 3, 5. 24.
Yeah, everyone does
I love
fine.
you, Tessa.
I punch the floating words.
just takes it. Tessa takes it on the chin, but it just doesn't matter. You folks you folks end up taking
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
so the total damage rolled is 15. Everyone halves that to 8. Unless you
Evasion.
have
I
yeah,
see.
you're fine.
I take 3.
I frown at the two completely unhurt women next to me. Like, how did you were closer than me? Fuck's sake.
Do you not remember the whole thing about really fast? Really fast.
And I go to the gym a lot.
I work out.
I like to think that Allie is not that she dodged the explosion, but she just rolled behind Tessa, knowing that this is quite possibly the safest place to be.
Who just flexed at the fire and it was like, no.
Remember that time I broke a piece of gold in half?
Which time?
The gold coin from last week's episode.
No. Allie's
Oh.
implying that there are other times that you've done it.
Oh, I'm sure there have. It's a gimmick now. See, like what the hardest metal I can bend is.
So the last thing to happen is what comes up next is Ioun's Arcane Eye. But it's the actual Arcane Eye of Ioun.
No idea what that is. Nikki?
Do I know what that is?
Yeah, Nikki would know what Ioun's symbol looks like.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'll immediately when I see it, like, oh yeah, that's Ioun's eye, source of knowledge, blah blah blah, religion, magic, knowledge, God.
Oh, that seems right up your alley.
Yeah.
No,
pretty
no,
much.
I'm Allie. She's Nikki.
Well, I know what I said.
You're entirely
you're-
wrong.
Finger gun.
Glam,
Allie's
Every-
very, very
Guns.
proud of Tessa for making a double entendre, because, one, that is a clever wordplay thing, which is not always Tessa's specialty, and two, it's a double entendre, it's a sex joke, and Tessa doesn't always make those, so, Allie is delighted right now.
as this is happening, Nikki, you can see that Glam is getting the vapors, and that Brotherhood Knight is just sort of nodding, shaking his head more at Glamra than anything else. Here we go again. We're doing this. But the question that appears before you is, what is knowledge worth?
Is the riddle, as it were?
An open-ended question.
Is it asking us to bargain?
It is just. It just says this is what is knowledge worth.
What is knowledge worth? What is knowledge worth?
350.
Riddles are bullshit.
Yeah, final answer. Riddles are bullshit. What is knowledge worth? What is knowledge worth? What is knowledge worth? I mean, it could be anything. It could be gold. It could be power. It could be anything. Could be anything, depending on what the knowledge is and what it's going to be used for. I mean,
Isn't it only worth as much as you'll use it for? I think it's knowledge is only useful if you're going to use it. Like, I don't need to know how to, I don't know, cast fireball. I can't.
I can try to show you.
Yes,
I mean,
but it's not going to work.
Let's not be too hasty.
I wouldn't be
because
able to do it. So that knowledge is worthless to me.
When Allie says like knowledge is only useful if you're going to use it, Nikki has a like. You have a strange worldview expression on her face.
But wasn't the question what is knowledge worth?
Allie's not saying like it's only useful if you're going to use it. It's knowledge is only worth as much as you're going to use it for. Which, like, if what you're going to use it for is to know, then it's worth a lot to you.
Tessa's head is spinning.
I guess.
Allie has lots of wisdom. She doesn't have much in.
Tessa heard herself in confusion.
Logical. I assume for none of this, the
I always say it depends.
Hasn't
That seems like that was what my philosophy professor always said. That's what Master Davon said. The answer usually was when you were in doubt. Could just be it depends.
I'll lean over to the paper and say, "It depends." Does the paper do anything?
And like a hatch opens with a stairway going down.
I look down the stairway. I'll like stick my head in there.
Yep.
Check for traps.
Did you? You're checking for traps by sticking your head into it.
That is correct.
Dex save.
I'm gonna go ahead and yank her back by the scruff.
Dex save. The top lid falls on you and bonks you on the head for 1 point of damage as Tessa pulls you away.
Yes.
Maybe next time don't check for traps by shoving your head down a hole.
Yeah, you have mage hand, right?
In there.
Use your mage hand.
As usual, you are right. Nikki takes a deep breath and kind of centers herself. Casts mage hand and sends it down to kind of poke along the walls and stuff.
Yeah, the hand floats and you find that there's a spiral going down.
All right. I turn towards Glam. Shall we?
Sure. And Glam does a light cantrip, the floating orbs, sends them down to light the path as you all descend.
I'll take point. So if anything comes out of the darkness, it'll hit me first.
Darkness. You folks head down and there's globs of light and eventually you...
Allie will take the rear because we all know that Nikki will absolutely die if she's the first one to get shanked.
Thank you.
Okay. Got you, boo.
You hit... So you go down probably about a story and a half's worth of stairs before you come out in a... Definitely an archive room. You're looking around. You see a lot of tomes, skulls, creatures in jars, and some sort of like fluid. And it's at the... So that's what you're moving into is shelves and stacks. And then as you hit towards the front, there seems to be some sort of like classroom set up. There's a podium at the front with some desks and stuff behind it.
Is it like all dusty and unused and spiderwebby?
Yeah, this has been neglected for millennia. Like, there's some preservation magic that's probably keeping it together, but a lot of this is dilapidated. A lot of the books, Nikki, might be useless unless they had some sort of special protection on them.
Sure.
But I mean, books can survive for thousands of years, luckily. But like, you don't know what. But this is like a dry, warm place, but you don't know about down here.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out my my water skin. Pour out some into like my hands, and then like go to splash my face, and the water just misses my face and forms this like sparkling spell around me. Just do a little quick armor of Agathis.
Okay. Something I need Allie and Tess to make me a perception check, please.
What?
14.
14 and
As usual.
39.
26.
Both of you notice looking at Nikki's armor, something's off. Like it's
What?
there, it's the sort of frost.
Do we know about Elzoff, or has Nikki been keeping that close
No,
to the
we've met
chest?
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
okay. Okay, then. Okay. I don't think Tessa would think this is odd. It's probably just an artifact of Elzoff.
Yeah, but you see as the armor forms on Nikki's chest, like there's.
You've seen me cast this
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki's cast this. There's something different this time though. Is like there's almost a face in the ice.
Ugh.
Like these long, shadowy, waily screams for just like specters coming up, and then once it catches the light of the orbs, it's the normal shiny ice that is usually around.
Was that part of Nikki's spell, or was that part of those like ghost spirit things that have been hanging around?
There's no ghosts down here that
Okay.
you've run into yet. But
Did
like,
I notice this?
I'm gonna say no, since you're casting it on yourself and you didn't think about the other two. The other two are looking
You
at you.
wouldn't be looking down.
I
That's
was
fair.
immediately messaging you, like, did you cast that any differently?
What? No.
There was a face.
There was a face on your armor.
I looked
Not-
down at my armor. Is
It's
there?
not stuck there anymore, and it wasn't Elzoth's face. We know what his face looks like.
Okay. That's at least mildly concerning.
Let's be careful of what magic we use down here.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, that seems pretty-
interesting. So, let me see something here. Should we try like a cantrip or something to see if anybody else's magic is affected?
Well, I mean, I mage hand our way down here.
And was there anything different about the mage hand?
Not that I noticed, but
You also would have lost sight of it after a while because it's going down a spiral staircase.
in meta, Scoot didn't ask you for a perception check for the mage hand.
So you see the Brotherhood Knight pull up a sacred flame and just chuck it in the
Oh, I
ground.
was gonna do that.
And it looked fine. Tessa looked, you know what sacred flame looks like if nothing happened.
I was literally about to do that. You took the words out of my mouth.
Do you want to try as well?
Sure, why not? Probably doesn't do anything.
So you're doing it?
Yeah.
As your spell hits the ground, you hear a sort of hissing, like when a cat is scared or forced away, but wants to yell at you before it leaves. But it's very disembodied. It didn't really come from like anywhere. And you just opened this place. There's no way like something got in.
Can I do a quick detect good and evil?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop that up. That's a 30-foot sphere. Am I detecting anything?
You're detecting your friends are fine, right? There's nothing that has taken over your colleagues. These are the two people, but there is a low-key maliciousness to this place. It's nothing like you don't. There's no demons or archfey or like abominations here.
Is this more like a petty evil kind of thing?
Yeah, it
Like-
feels bro-y. Like that kind of like
Oh.
you're probably gonna hurt yourself more than you're gonna hurt me, but there is something in your space the spell can detect of like a malicious
entity.
presence. An entity or just a sort of presence of some kind.
I do relay this verbally to the whole group that there's something here and it's not friendly, so we better be really careful. I can't quite pinpoint what it is. It's not like a demon or anything, but it's definitely not here to play.
Okay.
All right, Allie's gonna have her stormlight up and running.
So, make me investigation or perception check, folks, as you kind of check this place out.
I'll do a perception. 18 for perception.
30 for perception.
Mm-hmm. Nikki.
Perception. Not gonna be good. It's bad.
Ooh.
Did
Oh,
I
Nikki.
call it or did I call it though?
That's a 1.
Oh, Nikki.
So, you folks fan out and you start searching around, and there's some valuable shit down here. Actually, there's things about Gobo down here. As Allie, you're able to find books still intact that look like write-ups of the old dwarven city that's in there.
No, these seem important.
Durheim?
No,
No,
so
that's
in
different.
yeah, Durheim is different, but in Mount Gobo was
Oh.
once it was basically a midpoint between the dwarves of
Okay.
Durheim and getting to the ports in the south, where you would go to where the Volcani were and the other various larger clusters of dwarves around the world. There was this sort of meeting spot, and since it was in the center of Lasana, other folks came and everyone kind of made it this shared home, since it was just smack dab in the middle of the continent. So you're seeing not like architects' blueprints alleys, but like accounts. There's a map, but it was some like a tourist, but like someone that kind of knew what they were doing, like made a map of the entirety of the mountain that they were able to know. It looks in the same. It's not dwarvish in script in root. It's definitely that old common like you saw on the door. So it's probably a human that did this, which means they may or may not have access to everything in Gobo, but they have all of the probably common and public areas mapped out.
They've given us something to start from.
Yep.
Impressive.
Tessa.
So I should probably take these maps.
Yeah, Tessa, you
Take-
find books, extensive books, on all of the schools of magic.
I definitely call Nikki over immediately as soon as I find these. It's like, Nikki, come here,
Yep.
come here, come here. I feel like you'd want to see this.
Yes.
Nikki, also, before you do that, go ahead and make me
Oh dear.
a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
Okay. 11 total.
At disadvantage. Oh, yeah, it was. Yep. Everything seems fine. And you moved Tessa's call.
Great. I moved Tessa. Hello, Tessa. Everything is definitely fine.
Well, we might not want to touch it. I mean, remember the other books, but maybe you could like see if there's any like enchantments on this, or is anything pinging in the room as far as like evil?
Yeah,
goes.
the closer you move towards that like teacher's podium,
So that's
the
what's
more,
radiating.
Yeah, the stronger the signal gets.
I think I'm gonna be wandering over that way out of curiosity. I'm gonna leave Nikki with the books and kind of just like wander
That's
towards
dangerous.
that. Yeah, no, I know.
Nikki, go ahead and make me an Arcana check for these books.
I'm definitely going to mage hand some of like the dust off of the spines and see if there's any real good shit here. What a bad roll. 21 total.
Looking at them, not only is there books about the schools of magic, but it looks like somebody was trying to combine different schools of magic together.
Okay.
And their various, like, how things went. Sometimes it was thinking about that and kind of reading, like, using a mage hand to, like, pull the book out so you can kind of see the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
Flip
there
through a
was
little
some
bit.
success. There were also probably some failures. Like, these are researchers' notes of what might have worked and what might not have.
Okay. Just from a quick scan, do I see anything
Are you
on...
opening the book?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So you're like
Just
you've
from
mage handed out, you're
science.
just, twirling it in it so you can see it. So I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yeah. just from like scanning the signs, you were saying with all the different, there's books for like all the different schools of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any specifically for graviturgy magic that I've been learning from Elzoth?
Yes.
I'm curious. There is. Okay.
There is.
Interesting. Okay, that's some deep research, because Nikki hadn't even heard of that as a thing that was possible until Elzoth like brought it up as an option.
Yep. So, Nikki, something you've been kind of know in the back of your head, as most of you would, especially as a magic user, like, the old human empire, for all the shitty things it did learn a lot about magic and how to use it, and some of that knowledge was lost, at least in this part of the world. Like, people know it somewhere, but it's, since everyone kind of got disconnected for a while, you're only kind of starting to people are relearning things from different areas. But like, when Dath exploded, again, it was sort of like Alexandria, like, shit got lost. Somebody knows it somewhere, you just have to find the right person. But there are probably, in this place in particular, there are probably books like that might be talking about magics that haven't been seen in a long time.
Nikki won. Okay. I am going to like rest my mage hand on the cover of the book and like I'm about to open it and be like, "Hey, Allie."
Mm-hmm.
I really want to open this. Can you like, you know, I don't know if this wire is live. Can you get ready to like knock me away from it if anything shenanigans?
Isn't there a librarian who's like running this whole thing?
I mean, yes, we can bring it up to her, I suppose.
Do you think that she'd know how to open it more safely than we do?
As usual, you are right.
I just don't want you getting like Shadowfell magic again, so.
Yeah.
Make a charisma saving throw there, Nikki, at disadvantage.
Oh no. What is my charisma save? It's a +1. That's a 5. Thank you, disadvantage.
Okay.
Could have been an 18.
It's not audible whispers, but something is sort of pushing you to open the book.
Oh no.
And you really want to open the book.
Oh, did you have your +5 from being near me?
Oh yeah.
So it's a 10?
10 would not have mattered.
No.
And can I insight check to see if I notice that like Nikki is like looking like she's about to open the book anyway?
Yeah, go
There's
ahead.
some outside influence, maybe.
I have.
Yeah, you watch as your wizard friend's hand is going towards the cover to pop this thing open, almost of its own accord. Like, Nikki definitely has like hungry eyes for the tome, but you're not sure if Nikki is fully aware of what she's doing. Kind of like when you're eating Cheez-Its and you're just chomping them, you're just shoving them in your mouth.
So Allie's still got Stormlight up. She's going to summon it into her shard blade. It doesn't take the form you guys are used to of like glaive. It takes the form of a whip, which Allie snaps out. It wraps around your wrist and catches it. And she's like, no.
What? Ooh. I kind of look down and see that my hand is like 2/3 of the way towards the book. Like, thank you. Also, hot.
So the Brotherhood Knight comes over with his gloved hands and like his specifically like layers of it, and just kind of he gets hold of the book and slowly begins to pull it from you.
Good.
Okay, and he just...
I'll do my best to allow that to happen. I'm not sure to what degree my hands are going to cooperate here.
Right, he's a lot stronger than you, and I think you got to clamp on this. So he's going to kind of look at Allie like, "You want to help me with this?" You know.
I'm just going to let you out. I'm like, "I'm sorry. It's got my hand."
Ends up ripping it from it. Like, okay.
I've only got one of your hands currently. I've got the other one.
And he puts it back where you. He puts it back. Okay. Tessa, are you still getting towards that podium?
I'm kind of slowly approaching it. Is that signal getting stronger?
Oh yeah, you're getting like a radar beep,
Warmer.
and as you're about
Warmer.
10 feet from it, you
Okay,
see.
Scoot.
Go ahead.
Is it a radar beep or a Geiger counter click that's increasing?
Probably more Geiger counter in here.
Okay. I wanted to check the vibes on that one.
Yeah, so as you hit about 10 feet,
I-
Tessa, you see a form, like a wraith form, begin to rise up, like the hooded, cloaked. It's gripping onto the podium as it begins to coalesce in smoke.
And I pull out my sword!
Yeah. Its face is a mask. Make me a perception check.
Oh, that's persuasion. I rolled the wrong one, sorry. 11.
Do you remember in Mario 2 when you would go into the vases and those masks would chase you?
Yeah.
That's the mask it has. But it looks crazy.
Huh. Okay.
And this is just like, this is pinging all sorts of bad.
Guys, we have a problem.
Good news, I've already got my weapon out.
Yeah,
I let Nikki
I
have
got
her
my weapon
weapon
out. I got my sword.
Yep. So it just takes a second as its head, the mask, and you can kind of get the form of its head just goes a full 360. Like just staring at you. Like around the clock face. And it lunges.
I'm gonna need an old cleric and a young cleric.
It lunges for Tessa.
A borrowed cleric and a blue cleric.
Tessa?
Okay.
No. It's
Never mind.
Never mind. It rakes you. So it goes to rake you with its hands, but one catches on your armor, and the other catches on your shield, and it is despite.
Is he stuck? He's just stuck on me.
Well, here's the thing: is he's a little stuck in you because his claws have bitten into your armor and have made like deeper scratches,
Like gouges.
like gouges
Now
in
this-
your armor.
Now this is just funny. I feel like it's like a cat trying to climb up my armor.
Like stuck on
Getting
a
stuck.
like curtain or something.
Yeah, stuck on a curtain. Is
Make
it just like
me
hissing
a
at me?
Charisma save, please.
Ooh.
Alright, I'm proficient in that,
Yep.
so that's a 29.
You, as it's stuck there and you're kind of enjoying a little bit, it locks eyes with you, and you can feel it trying to take control of you, like to possess you, but then your radiant power kicks in, and it is forced away. It can't.
I yelled to everybody, guys, we have he's trying to get into your minds. Watch yourselves.
So what would you like to do, Tessa? Because you're the closest to it, and it's interacting with you.
I'm gonna proc my sacred weapon, and I'm gonna whap it.
Okay. Whap
Just
away.
tried to attack me, so I'm going to... Does a crit hit it?
Yep.
Does it ever?
Gonna use my bonus action for blinding smite, so a 28, and that's I'm gonna re-roll that for savage attacker. Okay, so 2 times 28. That's
54. 56. 56. Sorry.
56.
Okay. You don't. You pop it basically as you're burning radiant energy. Not only did you crit it, it's radiant and it does not like that. And as you cleave this thing, this burning brightness of Tessa's sword literally cuts it in half. You feel that negativeness snaking away from the room. Just sort of vanishing, like you put a whole puff of air and forced like a smoke or fog away.
What is with these goddamn shadow mind wraiths these days?
I, for one, am sick and tired of these motherfucking shadow mind wraiths on this motherfucking plane.
Right?
Call Idri about it. At this point, like the room, then as that happens, Tessa, you're not picking anything up. Like whatever was in here is gone now.
All right. It seems like we should be, as far as pure malevolent spirits, we're good. That doesn't mean there couldn't be tricksy magic, though. But we should be more safe than we were a second ago.
Progress.
Still no picking up strange books, perhaps.
Unless
At least
it got
not without gloves on.
out.
Was the whispering book a different thing, or was the whisper coming from that wraith
You have
mask
no
thing?
idea. Only Nikki heard the whispering.
Do I, as the wraith thing like fled, did I get any sense of if it was a different vibe than the whisper vibe?
You feel the same as you did before.
Okay.
Still really wants
Alright.
to look.
Is the pull towards the book lessened with it back on the shelf and with me over next to Tessa?
Yes.
Okay.
Now it's your regular. It's not calling to you. You just want to look at it because you probably just want to look at
I
it.
just want to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a normal amount of greed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So at this point, you see that Glamra is pretty freaked out. She's probably not a combatant.
Yeah.
And she is latched onto the Brotherhood Knight, and he's protective of her. His blade is drawn once he saw that thing pop out,
Yeah.
and he looks and he goes, "I think we should leave for now, and then go contact the camp, because there's more here than just tomes."
Do we have a way to secure it now that the door's open?
I think so, he says.
Like, is somebody going to stand guard?
How big is this area?
You're in... It's sizable. What are you trying to do?
Oh, okay. I'll do it to the entrance. If I can take 10 minutes. Well, hold on. Let me do a read. When you say sizable, like
what are you trying to do,
feet,
Rob?
I'm looking at private sanctuming the whole space down here. If it's less than 100-foot cube.
It's bigger than that. Like, it's really long, so you wouldn't be able to get everything.
Gotcha. What about a 200-foot cube?
A little bit longer than that.
I've got spells. Well, I'll offer that with a little bit of time and rather a lot of magic, I can lock this whole place down in terms of divination, teleportation,
Okay.
crying, and
Yeah,
like
he
that.
says, go ahead and do that, but can you do that when
Okay.
we're up top, or do you have to do that here?
I have to be in here to start the spell.
Do you have to stay here, he asks?
Wait. I have to be within 120 feet of part of the area.
So I can tell he's getting a little nervous, so I turn around and say, why don't
So I can do
you
it from the
guys
outside.
go... Why don't you
Go
guys go to
together.
the top, and then we'll take care of things down there, and we'll be right up.
I can actually do it from the top.
No, we can do it from
I
the
can-
top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go up to the top then, he says. He clearly does not want to be in here anymore.
Wait, you've never seen a wraith before?
No, I don't want to be underground when shadows are coalescing into things.
Cool. See, I'll do a 6th level private sanctum on this whole space. So 300-foot cube.
Yeah, you get most of that. Yeah, you get most of it.
Okay.
You head back up top. You folks
It looks foggy for the... Just to know.
Yeah,
There's a foggy cube sticking out of the ground.
Yeah. A fog that makes you not want to wear pants all of a sudden appears. And he says, okay, head back to your tents. We'll report this to Lady Getting, and we'll figure out what to do with this. Hopefully it's not that big of a deal, but she should know what to do. And he takes, he sees you back to your tent, he thanks you, and he goes back to, he heads off. You folks spend the day, spend the rest of the day just kind of talking, kind of getting a lay of the land, what's around here, talking to people around there. The one odd thing, though, is as you bed down for the night, you wake up as if you haven't slept. You all actually gain a point of exhaustion.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
And that's where we're going to leave tonight.
Ooh.
To figure out what the fuck's happening with that next week.
Ooh.
We getting drained.
So from
Not the fun way.
Nope.
So from all of us here in Ryan, folks, thank you for coming out. And we will see you next week to find out what, Nikki made some rolls. What happened with that? We'll find out next week. Have a good one, folks.